So it's time to potty train your children and you're freaking out. You're not alone. I've been through that myself. I had no idea where to start, but now I have the perfect method, the perfect tools, and everything you need to potty train your child. So keep watching. If you're looking for the perfect potty training method, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Gabrielle. Welcome to my channel, and if you're new here, like and subscribe. In this video, I'm going to show you an excellent way to potty train your child really fast and really effectively too. I'm a mother of two beautiful children, and I potty train them thanks to this method. We're going to get real and down and dirty about potty training. It took me a while to figure out what you have to do to potty train. Everybody seems to give you advice and they tell you do this or do that, but sometimes you don't even know where to start. And you buy so many things for the potty training process, most of which you'll never use. You watch so many videos that are useless. You buy many videos that are useless too. I did it, and nothing is working. So how can you potty train your toddler successfully? Every child is different, but potty training does have a method to its own. In my case, the solution was a book called Oh Crap Potty Training. Potty training is a significant milestone for your kid. It's an essential process of their development and one they're probably going to be really proud of too. And what's wonderful about the Oh Crap Potty Training method is that it gives you a really fun and interesting way to look at it. Unlike other books and other methods, it is not boring. I laughed my whole way reading that book. It really took a chuckle out of me. It's just super funny. And I really like the way it's structured because it gives you really good tips and a stress-free method, or at least not stressful, for potty training your toddler. Now, it doesn't matter on what stage you are in. It doesn't matter if you've had failed attempts at potty training your child or if you're just about to start. This method guides you the whole way. You just have to follow its core principles. And I'm going to go through each one of them. And by the way, if you're interested in acquiring this book, I have put the link below in the description and in the comments. And you can also get this book for free using Audible Trial. I have also put the link below. The first step in the Oh Crap Potty Training method is to see if your child is ready. Most children between 18 and 30 months are ready to be potty trained, but each child is different. So how do you assess that they're ready? There's usually several signs that show readiness. For example, they start pulling off their diapers, or they start showing interest in the potty. They start following you to the bathroom, or they're interested in flushing the toilet. Another good sign is that they have longer dry periods. If your child's diaper stays dry for a longer time, they might be ready to be potty trained. And in some special cases, some kids start expressing that they want to use a potty, or they tell you when they want to go potty, or they point to their diaper when they feel it needs to be changed. All these signs indicate potty readiness. So if you start feeling that your child is ready to be potty trained, it's important to go to step 2, which is gathering everything you'll need for potty training. And this is very important information because it'll save you a lot of money, unless you have already done what I did when I was potty training my first child, which was just go and purchase every single book on potty training, every single video to help them become aware of potty training, and many potties which I never ended using because they didn't work. So I would like to tell you what really works. First of all, you're gonna need a potty seat. I believe that the best potty for your child is one that resembles a real potty. In my case, that's the one that worked. There are many brands and kinds of potties out there that have toys and sounds and all kinds of bells and whistles to them. But in my case, they only served as a distraction for the children. They were more interested in playing with the potty than in going to the potty. So that didn't work for me. In contrast, the Summer Infant My Size Potty Seat worked fabulously. The only little extra thing that it has is that it makes a flushing sound. My kids found that hilarious and it made it very realistic. So they felt like their mom and daddy going potty. So if you're interested in acquiring this potty by Summer Infant, I'll place the link below in the description and also in the comments. Another thing that you'll need for potty training is cotton underwear. Some parents find that choosing the underwear with their children is a fun experience. They take them up shopping, they let them choose their own underwear, and this gives the child excitement towards potty training. In my case, my children were not interested in shopping for their underwear. I tried to get them excited about it, and they were like, whatever. So I just chose what I thought was best. Of course, I did focus on their favorite things. Like for my son, I got Thomas the Train underwear because he was obsessed with trains. And for my daughter, I chose Frozen from the Frozen movie because she was all about Elsa and Anna. So that definitely got them more interested in it, but they weren't into the shopping part back then. I personally recommend the potty training pants. I found them on Amazon. And they're fabulous because they're thicker underwear, which kind of helps in case of little accidents. When a child is potty training, they don't have much bladder control. They're just kind of learning to control their bladder. So if a little pee comes out and gets that underwear wet, it doesn't go through all the way to the clothes. And that really helped to keep them confident. Because some children, when they have an accident, get really discouraged and it becomes like the end of the world for them. And yeah, that's normal because it's something that they're really proud of when they're potty training, not having accidents. This underwear kind of helps to make the disaster a little bit less dramatic because the rest of their clothes don't get soaked, unless it's a big accident, of course. They're especially handy when it's nighttime. They only absorb a little bit. Most of them are not waterproof. I really didn't care for the waterproof ones where it's basically a diaper, because they have plastic so the pee doesn't go through them. I didn't like those because they make a sound when the kids move and that shuffling sound is very annoying. So I just used the extra thicker training pants. If you're interested in getting these training pants, at least the one that worked best for me, I'll put the link in the description. And there's 2 more things that you might need to have your kit complete. Flushable wipes are a good option for when your child is starting to go potty on the real potty. It helps them start learning to wipe themselves. It's a gradual transition from using wipes to using toilet papers. At first, don't think that your child is gonna wipe their own butt. You're gonna have to be there with them and you're gonna have to wipe them. So have the wipes handy. The My Size Potty from Summer Infant does have a little compartment for wipes, so that's awesome. It's handy there. So your child can start doing it and just putting the wipe in that potty too. But gradually you're gonna transition toward toilet paper. You gotta be patient with that. It does take very little time with this method for them to know when and where to go potty. And that's a fabulous thing. So the whole butt wiping thing is okay until they're old enough. And finally, you're gonna need a step stool for when they're ready to use the real potty. Depending on the age of your child is when they'll start using the real potty. In my case, it took a while because they learned so early, at least my daughter learned so early, that she was too small to use the real potty and I was always afraid that she'd fall and hurt herself. So she didn't use a step stool for the longest time. I think it was almost a year before she started using the real potty. My daughter learned how to go potty when she turned 2. And it's funny because she actually showed readiness at 18 months and I was very surprised with this. She was very interested in starting to go potty and using this method, she did it perfectly for a week. And then a week into it, she decided, I don't want to do this anymore. So I was like, oh no, and she went back to diapers. But the good thing about the Oh Crap potty training method is that it shows you how to resume potty training once they're ready again. And yeah, next time she decided she was ready, she did it and she did it to perfection, super fast and super easy, and I never had to worry about it again. And since that day when she turned 2 and she started potty training, she literally had only 2 accidents from then until this age. She got it. They say potty training girls is easier, and it kind of was in a way, but not completely because my little girl is feisty. So she decided when and where, and yeah, I had to be very, very careful the way I guided her to avoid any rebellion. So I just had to follow her lead and praise her once she did it right. And obviously you're gonna have to be very understanding. With my boy, it was a completely different story. I had no idea where to start, what method to use. I bought all the gear and potties and everything. I just tried it all and nothing was working. And that's when I ran into this book. And I literally trained my son and my daughter at the same time. My daughter, like I said, she was 2. And my son was 3.5 years old. So yeah, he was starting to go past the potty training time. And I was starting to get criticized for it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need help. And that's when I ran into this book. I think somebody recommended it on Facebook and I'm like, why not? Let's give it a try. So the amazing thing about the Oh Crap Potty Training Method is that your child is gonna learn in 3 days to use the potty. 3 days. But potty training is a marathon, not a sprint. Only the first part is a sprint. Those 3 days is when your child will understand that they need to put their poop and their pee in a certain place and at certain times. So basically they're gonna learn all about the feelings in their body. They're gonna get familiarized with how their body feels when they need to go potty. When they're in diapers, they really don't think about it, they just go. But when you're potty training them and you're telling them, they start to understand when it's time to go. They start to understand that it's uncomfortable to be wearing a diaper, although readiness kind of tells them that too. Like I said, many kids, when they're ready, they start pulling their diaper off because they can't stand the feeling anymore. So step number 3 in this potty training process is naked time. Yeah, so those 3 days in which your child learns to be familiarized with their body sensations and where to poop and where to pee, they are gonna be completely commando. Some people say that potty training is easier in the summer or in spring if you're in a warm climate, because then they can be naked without feeling cold. But I did it in winter. I potty trained my children on a January. We were at home. I literally cleared my schedule and stayed at home 3 days straight. And yes, I did get a bit of cabin fever, but it was worth it. And I let my children run around naked in a playroom. So that's what you have to do. You have to observe them and start seeing the signs that they're going to go potty. Some children grab that little area there. Some children start squatting. Some children cross their legs. Like, they start showing a little sign. What are you gonna do during that time? Well, you're gonna need help. I didn't have any help, but you're gonna need help probably for somebody to bring you food or just order food or just clear up your schedule. You're gonna sit there watching TV and watching your kid run around. At that age, it's quite easy. I had a little playroom and I had baby gates. So the 3 of us were literally locked up in that room and I watched the kids run around. And once I saw that they were about to go potty, oh, by the way, you need to keep that little training potty in that room. I know, it sucks. By the time you get to the bathroom, unless you have the bathroom within good reach, in a special area that had no carpet, I had the little my-size potty right there for when they were ready. And the moment my child showed that he or she was about to go potty, I would literally carry her or him to the potty. And once they did it, I praised them. Sometimes, yeah, you'll probably get distracted and it'll happen and oh, what do? You know? But don't get discouraged. Believe me, those 3 days, sometimes it takes even less, sometimes it takes 2. In my case, it literally just took 2 days. It was a Saturday and a Sunday. And so once they start noticing that every time they feel that way, you take them to the potty and they get praised for doing that, you're golden. They're literally gonna say, oh, wow, I put my poop or my pee in there and I got praised. Some people like doing like a reward chart with little stickers and stuff. Some people give them candy or buy them a toy, you know, kind of a bribe thing. I didn't do that. All I did was praise, like a very enthusiastic praise, by the way, like bravo, bravo, and lots of kisses and hugs, and that was enough. And one of the hardest things when you're training a toddler to go potty is number 2. Number 2 is always the most difficult part. Some kids are attached to their poop, believe it or not. They have like a separation anxiety from their poop, and this book shows you really good solutions to that. In my case, the commando thing kind of solved the whole issue, But yes, the first day he did do that. Like he literally didn't go number 2 all day. And when it was finally nighttime and I put his diaper on for bed, boop, right away. And I'm like, oh. But there comes a point where they can't hold it any longer. And in his case, when he started seeing his sister get praised for going poopy in the potty, that's when it worked. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do it too. So if you wanna train 2 toddlers at the same time, fabulous. If you can't, still give it a shot. There's really good solutions in this book on how to do that. Now, the next step, number 4, is establishing a routine. When you establish a routine, you're kind of getting them used to the fact that they need to go potty every certain time. This reduces the risk for accidents and it trains their bladder too. What really worked for me was taking them potty every single time before we left the house and every single time we arrived somewhere. So I would literally take them potty before I left the house. Then I would drive to, for example, the gym, and arriving to the gym, I would take them again. And then while we were there, they would play around for a bit, and then I would take them again before we left, and then drive home and take them again at home. And believe it or not, even though the distance between my home and the gym is about 10 minutes, they would still go. Even if just a little bit, they would still go. And you have to take them at least 3 times a day. So I would take them potty as soon as they woke up. Then I would take them potty in the middle of the day. And then I would take them potty sometime in the afternoon or right before bed. So 3 or 4 times a day is recommended. So they start establishing a routine of when they have to go potty. And this was really helpful. They started to gain bladder control and sphincter control. And soon enough, I didn't have to think about it. That's one of the things the book says. You're gonna start to feel like your life revolves around going potty with your children. And it also encourages you saying, there will come a time where you're no longer thinking about it. And I'm gonna be real honest with you. It's gonna be months, probably. Yeah, depending on how young they are when they learn. In my case, it took about 6 months before I didn't have to think about it anymore. But believe me, an excellent way to reduce accidents is just follow the routine like clockwork and just put your big mama pants on like the book says and just do it. You have to stick to it. You have to do it so that they get the hang of it, and then the sooner they will be completely potty trained and you'll no longer have to think about it. So yeah, there comes a point where you no longer have to think about it. And yeah, sometimes you'll forget. I did. Like sometimes I would go somewhere and I forgot to take them potty before going there, and then I would have to run to the bathroom in the middle of shopping, or I would have to go to the bathroom in the middle of visiting somebody, with them. It's normal. I mean, it happens. We're busy moms, but don't be hard on yourself. And then there comes a point where they do it by themselves. In my case, like I said, it was about 3 to 6 months when they got the hang of it, and I no longer had to think about it. The older they get, the easier it gets too. Like before, every time I took them to the movies, it was like 3 or 4 visits to the potty during the movie. So that's a lot to handle. And nowadays they watch a whole movie without even wanting to go potty. Step number 5 is nighttime potty training. Some children will need nighttime potty training. My son definitely needed it. I had to wake up in the middle of the night and take him potty. And if your child is a deep sleeper, it's going to be a little bit more difficult too, and there will be more accidents. That's normal. You have to assess those moments calmly and not be hard on your child, because even though in the old days they used to say that's a problem with behavior and stuff, I'm not quite sure about that. Of course, if there's significant distress in a child's life, I have noticed this does happen, but usually when they're potty training, it's just an accident. It literally happens. Their body is still adapting, and the older they get, the less it will happen. But in my daughter's case, I literally didn't have to do any nighttime potty training. The moment she was potty trained in the morning, she was immediately potty trained at night. She literally stopped needing a diaper right away. And to this day, she stays dry every single night. She's only had 1 nighttime accident since she was potty trained at 2. 1. Yeah, every single child is different. So you just have to be patient and address it calmly and just realize it's an accident. An accident that happens at night. And yes, definitely get some protector sheets so your mattress is not ruined. And those potty training pants, like I said, are really handy. And if you're really afraid that they'll go potty in the middle of the night, probably try some nighttime diapers, even though they're potty trained in the morning. Oh, and I almost forgot, when it comes to potty training pants that are basically diapers, you know, the pull downs or pull ups or whatever, I really don't recommend using those because the kid knows. I mean, kids are intelligent. They know it is a diaper. It might seem to be pants, but it is a diaper. I tried those with my son. They did not work. He knew it was a diaper and he would poo and pee in them, you know? But when it comes to underwear, they can feel the humidity. They can feel the goo, you know? So that's when they're uncomfortable, and that's when they're like, no, I can't continue doing this. So it's faster to potty train without using diapers that are potty training pants. It is also really important to encourage independence. When your child is potty training and has gotten the hang of it, then you start showing them how to put on all the clothes back by themselves, and some of them will do it just as a natural thing. My daughter, for example, she pulled up her little underwear by herself without any issues. I never had to like really teach her. I did assist her, and the younger the child is, the more assistance they will need. But as they grow, keep encouraging that independence, and it really is a moment of pride for them. They really like knowing that they can do it. The sense of accomplishment that they get from potty training is incredible. Believe it or not, it's a huge milestone. Now let's talk about setbacks. Yes, they happen. You'll have to take a deep breath and say, okay, we'll try again. It's okay. And you literally have to let your child take a break from potty training, and you just have to not make it a battle. Because if you enter a battle with your child in this, it's gonna take forever. You know, it becomes a thing of resistance, a challenge for them not to potty train. And like when you say, hey, don't date that guy, they're gonna date that guy. So same here with the potty training. You're like, no, you have to potty train. You have to do this. And they're gonna be like, no, I'm in control, and they're not gonna let you. So you just have to say, okay, we'll try again. And just let them go back into diapers and take a break. Now, how much of a break? There's several options in the book. It can be 2 weeks or it can be months. In my daughter's case, it was actually 6 months. Yeah, quite a long time. She started at 18 months, like I said, did a week of perfect pottying. Then she decided she was over it. And then when she turned 2, she literally came up to me and just wanted to do it. Like, she pulled me towards the potty and wanted to do it. I'm like, okay, we're ready. And she was done really fast. You just have to deal with those setbacks gracefully and not pressure your child. And you have to be very consistent and be very prepared. Consistent, like I said, is just follow the routine and not contradict yourself. Because when you're not consistent, you're contradicting yourself in front of your child. You're showing them it's not that important. Sometimes while you're potty training, a holiday will come up, and I had a fabulous kit for travel. I got a travel potty. I'll put the link in the description below too, which was very helpful to continue that potty training. Now, if you're going on an airplane, you don't want accidents, yes, put on a diaper, that's okay. In my case, I was afraid it would cause a setback, but it didn't. So you have to be prepared, and I recommend you have the following things at all times. I had the travel potty, I had wipes, I had a change of clothes, I had a bag in case of accidents, so where to put the dirty clothes, because that's another thing. And I'll put some links in the description below for these products so that you can always be prepared. Because sometimes they have to go potty in the most unexpected places, like Murphy's Law dictates. Yes, it happens. It's typical that you're in the middle of a road trip and you have to pull over so they go potty. And for girls, it's like huge not being able to go potty in a potty. So travel potty, that's where it comes handy. Boys are less attached to that. They're happy to pee on a tire, but a girl won't. My daughter literally would have a meltdown if the potty wasn't there. So if you're in the middle of a forest, if you're in the middle of a road trip, if you're on a holiday, you need your travel kit. You're gonna need it. Even if you're not on holiday and are just doing a commute, you're gonna need that. So have it with you at all times. And travel potty, I'm gonna recommend to you, is fabulous because it folds so small that you can have it in your diaper bag with you. And finally, one crucial idea in the Oh Crap potty training book that I found really helpful, that contradicts, by the way, what many people say, is that you should never say it's okay. If you tell your child that it's okay to have an accident, they're gonna continue having accidents. They're gonna think, oh, okay, it's not important, and I'll poop and pee everywhere. Believe it or not, that is absolutely true. So the best way to approach it is being very careful with your wording. When my kids had an accident, I would never say, oh, it's okay, don't worry. No. You have to be very firm. You have to say, okay, this happened. This is not okay. You're learning, so I'll let it pass, but this is not okay. Obviously, don't be angry, don't scare them. You just have to be firm and kind at the same time. And they will understand. They will understand it's not okay. When my daughter, well, actually my daughter never had accidents, but when she did, the first time she did, a year later, believe it or not, I said, it's not okay. You know better, sweetie. This is not okay. You're a big girl now. You have to go potty in the potty. And I understand this was an accident, but next time we have to go potty in the potty. And she got it. She literally never had an accident again. My son, he was more prone to accidents. So the first time that he had an accident, I also was like, this is not okay. This must not happen. And I showed him, you gotta go potty here. I understand this was an accident. You're still learning, but you gotta go potty here. And at first he kind of looked at me like, okay, but then he had another accident, and that's when I was really firm. And I'm like, we already talked about this, sweetie. You can't do this. Like, this is not okay. And then I had to use a little bit more of a unpleasant method to make him understand, which basically is I had to make him help me clean up the mess. Like, literally, he didn't want to do that. Yeah, he literally didn't want the extra work. And the third accident he had was really frustrating because by then he was really proud of being potty trained, really proud. So for him, it was the end of the world, but it was a typical accident where he was playing too long. So he held it because he wanted to continue to play it until he couldn't hold it anymore. So he ran to the bathroom, and by the time he sat down, it was too late. And he cried and cried, poor little thing. It was so heartbreaking, and I did comfort him a lot that time. I told him, it was an accident, sweetie. I still told him this is not okay. I comforted him, but I still told him this is not okay, sweetie. You're a big boy now. And remember, each child is unique, and there's no grown-ups that are not potty trained out there. I kept hearing that when I felt discouraged. They'll all get it sooner or later. I hope it's sooner with the help of these tips that I just gave you. So anyways, happy potty training, and check out the links below.